Good morning, friends. It's Carrie from the Portland Public Library in Portland, Maine, and I'm joining you again today from the Sam L. Cohen Children's Room. And we are going to continue reading Bob by Wendy Mass and Rebecca Stead, illustrations by Nicholas Gannon, and this book is published by Philo and Friends. And we are on chapter 4, Bob. Definition: zombie, noun, a dead body brought back to life. A dead body? We both jump away from the book. Livy trips on the rug and we fall into a heap. I'm not dead, I insist, my face pushed straight into the rug. I unscramble my legs and pick up the dictionary. It is not heavy for me. I flip to the D pages, which I already went through during my first year in the closet after I taught myself to read. I read aloud. Dead. Dead. Adjective: lacking power to move, feel, or respond. Incapable of being stirred emotionally. You are definitely moving, she observes, even your foot. I stand up, shimmy, and turn in a circle to prove her right. She reaches out and pinches the sensitive spot under my elbow. Ouch! You feel and respond, she says. I rub my arm. I'm very sensitive, I say, raising my chin. I've always been like that. Always, she asks, because I thought you didn't know anything about yourself. I shake my head. I know I feel sad when Gran worries into the phone about missing the rain. I know I like salty snacks and avocados on toast and warm tea because you gave me that for breakfast last time. Only you call it brekkie, which is what Gran calls it, and we both agreed we like the sound of it. I also like pirates and the color orange, and I know my name, but that does not tell me what I came from or what I am. Can you please tell me your name, she begs. Is it Bertram? I shake my head. Do I look like a Bertram? Not really, she admits. Throckmorton? Lachlan? I shake my head. Lachlan? She shrugs. I remember that's a common name for boys here in Australia. That you remember? Can't you just tell me? First, you have to promise not to laugh. She makes an X over her heart. So I tell her. It's Bob. Her lips quiver at the corners, but she keeps her word and does not laugh. I know it is not a very exciting name for a zombie, but it's all I've got. You're not a zombie, though. You could be almost anything. I brighten. She's right. I think about the possibilities. I know I'm not human. Maybe I'm superhuman. Livy! I could be the Hulk or Green Lantern. I don't just read the dictionary. Sometimes I read the superhero comic books on the top shelf that I have to stand on the dictionary to reach. I never thought I might be one of them before. Livy looks me up and down. The color's right, but the Hulk needs to be angry before he turns green. Are you angry? Well, I'm still more than a little ticked off about everything, but not angry. I shake my head. Doesn't the Green Lantern always wear a special ring? I look down at my bare hands and sigh. I guess I'm not the Green Lantern. Don't feel too bad, Livy says. Whatever you are, you're still super cool. I haven't gotten a compliment in a long time. 5 years, to be exact. It feels nice. I want to tell her there's plenty of other superheroes I could be, even though they're not green, but she's tapping the cover of the dictionary now. I wonder if there's a book where we can look up what you are instead of what you are not. We both glance over at the bookshelf. Livy moves her hand along the edge of the books like she's looking for one in particular, but then shakes her head. If there is, we don't have it, but we'll figure this out. A look crosses her face. A familiar look. She is concentrating. I like the look. All right, she says, facing me. First things first. I need you to tell me everything that happened when I was here last time. I open my mouth, but she holds up her hand. Not right now. My mother's going to come up any minute to check on me. Can you hide again? If she sees you, she'll totally freak out. Maybe I'm like the invisible girl from the Fantastic Four, I say, stalling. I really don't want to get back in the closet. Maybe I can turn invisible even though I'm not a girl. Can you? She asks, tapping her foot. I squeeze my eyes shut and practice being not seen. I open one eye. Well, can you see me? Yes, Bob, I can see you. She said my name. Bob. It makes me feel, well, seen. and heard like I'm a person, or whatever I am. I'm glad I'm not invisible after all. I hear her mother approaching the door. Uh-oh. With my super hearing, I should have known she was coming. I was too busy basking in the glow of hearing my name. The great and powerful Bob. The Bobster. His Bobness. Luckily, her mom stops for a second outside the door to knock. She is a very polite mom. Not that I know many moms, or any moms. I take the opportunity to fling myself back into the closet. What choice do I have? Livy sticks out her foot and pushes the closet door closed just as the bedroom door opens. My heart is beating really fast. Hey, that's more proof that I'm not dead. Dead things don't have heartbeats. Are you up for a walk, Olivia? Her mother asks. Let's go get some fresh air. Livy hesitates, but then extra loud says, Okay, let's go for a walk. She doesn't have to talk loud for my benefit. I have excellent hearing when I pay attention. I've learned most of what I know about the outside world from listening to Grand Nichols' television shows through the closet wall. Like now I hear her feet moving across the carpet towards the door. Then one set stops. What's this? Her mother asks. That, Livy said. Oh, just some feathers I found in the closet. An old art project. I must have started it last time I was here. I suddenly realize my elbow feels bare and breezy. I reach around and sure enough, some feathers are missing from my chicken outfit. I feel wrong without them, like I'm not me. I hold my breath. I hope her mother doesn't take them. I'm glad you're remembering some things from last time, she tells Livy. It's always nice to return somewhere you've already made happy memories. Silence. Is she doing something with the feathers? What is she doing? I am itching to peek out, but there is no keyhole in the door, because who would lock a closet? You can just leave those feathers on the bed, Livy finally says. Of course, her mother says. We can see the animals, and I'll show you the well I built with my dad when I was your age. You weren't allowed to go near it last time because you were too small. Her voice fades as they go down the stairs. The last thing I hear Livy saying is, I don't remember having to stay away from a well. But I do. I remember her making a wide circle around that well every time we went out to the backyard. She kept me far away from it, too. She was good at looking out for me. When I hear the kitchen's back door slam shut downstairs, I fling open the closet door and grab my feathers off the bed. I am glad that my foot is not detached after all, because that would make it hard to run. I hold the feathers to my arm. I will have to ask Livy to bring me glue or sticky tape when she returns. Feeling like myself again, I snuggle down into my sleep corner for a nap. Every few months, I like to sleep for an hour or two. It relaxes me when I'm stressed. When I wake up, I can tell through the sliver of space in the doorframe that it is dark. I sit upright. That was a long nap. Livy didn't return in all this time. Has she left me again? I throw open the door. Under the bedsheet is the unmistakable outline of my old friend. Unless she stuffed pillows in there to make it look like her. She told me she did that once at home and then snuck downstairs for an ice pop. I'd like to try an ice pop someday. I poke one small green finger at the lump in the bed. Snore. Whew, pillows don't snore, so that's a good sign. I turn back to the closet and nearly trip over the tray of baked beans, a bag of potato chips, an orange fizzy drink that is sitting right there. 3 new foods to try. Hooray! The note taped to the side of the bag of chips says, Dear Bob, also known as the not zombie. I didn't want to wake you, plus I'm all jet lagged and needed to sleep. Strange word, jet lagged. Not sleep, which isn't that strange of a word at all. Anyway, I'm sorry again for the wait and for the forgetting. We will figure out what you are. I promise. Your friend, Olivia, also known as Livy. I beam. I knew old Livy was still in there somewhere, even though new Livy might have forgotten her. I carefully peel the note off the chips and use the tape to stick the feathers back on. Then I settle down to my feast, wishing Livy was awake to share it with me. Humans are strange, sleeping half their lives away. Not that my life has been so exciting in the last 5 years. The beans are excellent. Chapter 5, Livy. It's hard to sleep through the night in Australia, especially when Bob is eating potato chips right next to the bed. I wouldn't say this to his face, but Bob looks sort of creature-ish, as if he might scarf down his food like a dog or something. But from the sound of it, he's actually a very neat eater. The problem is he crinkles the bag a lot. I'm under the covers thinking. I'd like to think that sometimes when nobody knows I'm awake, and what I'm thinking about is what to do about Bob. Bob thinks I can help him find his home. He waited for me in Gran's closet for 5 years, but where did he come from? The first thing Bob can remember is the chicken coop, so maybe we should start there. We've got to figure out how Bob can go outside without anyone seeing him. How does a green guy blend into a place where nothing is green anymore? Everything around Gran's house is kind of dry and brownish. I don't think the chicken suit is going to work. How could Bob ever pass for a chicken? The bag crinkling suddenly stops. Did I say that out loud? I sit up. Bob is standing right next to the bed, looking at me with sad eyes. He is just tall enough to rest his green chin on the mattress. Don't worry, Bob says. The chicken suit has never failed me. I look at him. He's got the hood on and zipped up everything, but one shoulder of the chicken suit has slipped off again. He's squeezing the potato chip bag. I see that he taped a couple of loose feathers to his arms, and they're sticking out in 3 directions, in a way that real chicken feathers would never, ever do. But I decide to be optimistic. Dad says being optimistic is when you decide everything will probably be okay, even if you don't exactly know how. Like when my soccer team was losing 7-0 and Dad had us put our hands together and chant, "We are champions," before the second half started. So I smile. Bob smiles back. That's better. You look almost like the old Livy. And then he pops the top of his orange soda. There's only one me, Bob. He slurps. Then he burps. I sigh. We lost that soccer game. I think the final score was 12-1. Only one more night until Mom leaves with Beth Ann. A bad feeling starts in my stomach. I tell it to go away, but it just makes it bigger. I look at Bob again. He'd spend more than 1,000 nights in the house without his mother. He's watching me munching away. I want to promise that I'm going to get him home, wherever home is for Bob. But what if I can't? Suddenly, I'm looking at the back of him. Bob can move fast. The closet door closes behind him at the same moment the bedroom door swings open and Mom sticks her head in. She smiles. Didn't think you'd be able to sleep through those magpies. Aren't they amazing? They sound like that cute robot from the first Star Wars movie. I listen. And there it is, a funny bird warble from outside. A lot of bird warbles, actually. They do kind of sound like R2-D2. Mom sits on the edge of the bed and puts one hand on her forehead like she's feeling for a fever. I want her to leave that hand there forever. You doing okay? She asks. Sure, I tell her. We're probably both playing the same movies in our heads. Number 1, me getting picked up from Maya's house at 9 o'clock the last 2 times I tried to sleep over. 2, me getting picked up in the middle of Audrey Miller's slumber party. 3, me getting picked up from the school trip to Newport. That one was a long drive for Dad. Ever since Beth Ann was born, I can't sleep without knowing Mom and Dad is there. I'm only going to be gone for 6 nights, Mom says, and Gran is family. I know that. You should be fine, Mom says. That only makes me feel worse. I flip over so my face is in the pillow, even though it means that Mom takes her hand away. Because I know I should be fine. I know there's no reason to feel worried. But the stomachache shows up anyway. Mom squeezes my shoulders and says, "My brave girl," which is the last thing I feel like. I feel her weight leave the bed. Breakfast in a few minutes, sweetie. As soon as she's gone, I hear the closet door open. I lift my head and Bob is back where he was before. No food this time, just big eyes. Bob, I say, I'm not going to leave you alone again. I promise. A few hours later, we're standing at the kitchen door looking across Gran's yard to the chicken house. Mom has taken the baby into town for some shopping, and Gran has walked over to the neighbor's farm. In Massachusetts, it takes about 30 seconds to walk out our front door to the neighbor's house, but at Gran's, it is a long walk. It's a good thing no one's home because Bob insisted on going down Gran's back stairs on his butt 6 times. It turns out we did have a name for it. It's called butt bumping, and it hurts. Maybe I had more padding when I was 5. Looks like the coast is clear, I say, scanning the dusty yard. I told you, it doesn't matter about the coast. The chicken suit works perfectly. I can't even look at him. We spent the last 20 minutes taping every loose feather in the closet to Bob's back, and the chicken suit looks dumber than ever. Don't think that way, Livy, Bob says. We have to think positive thoughts. I blink. Are you reading my mind or something? Because that is the second time that has happened. He reaches up to poke my nose. I am reading your face. Deep breath. Okay, I tell him. Let's go. We head out, just me and a small green mystery wearing a chicken suit, into the sunlight. 3 steps across the yard, I glance down at Bob and burst out laughing. Now what, he asks. Why are you laughing? I'm laughing at the way you're walking, like this. I do some fast little jumps, pumping my knees up into the air and landing on my toes. But that is the quick steps, Bob says, looking hurt. And what's this? I demonstrate again, still doing the crazy knees, while also kind of lunging to the left and then to the right. He sniffs. That is the side to side. We start walking, but after a few steps, I have to stop again. I am laughing so hard. What's this part for? I stick my head out as far as my neck as my neck can, and then I pull it back, out and back, out and back, out and back. That is the head poke, he says impatiently. Am I doing something wrong? This is the chicken walk you taught me. Are you kidding? I have no idea how to walk like a chicken. No offense, but it's dorky. You did teach me. You watched the chickens to see what they did, and then you taught me how to walk like a chicken. The old Livy taught me. I look over at the chickens pecking in their chicken yard. Really? Weird. Let me see it again. Bob walks out in front of me, knees pumping, stepping left and right, and pecking at the ground. I glance at the chickens again, and then back at Bob. You know what? That's actually a pretty good chicken walk, because I realize it is. I can see him smile, even though he's still in full-on chicken mode. Bob smiles with his whole head. It makes the sun feel warmer. Yes, he says to the dirt, it is a very good chicken walk that the old Livy taught me. There's only one me, I tell him. If you say so, he says. Hello there. There's a man walking towards us down Grant's long driveway. It takes me a second to notice the boy walking next to him. He's maybe 6 or 7. I look at Bob and realize how crazy it was that we ever thought that this could work. Because Bob is a green mystery creature covered in orange cloth, tape, and feathers, pecking, kind of desperately now, in the dirt. I hope he'll just keep his face down. Maybe I can pass him off as my strange little brother. The man and the boy smile all the way to where we're standing. Hi, I say, jumping up and waving, as if I can distract them from Bob by acting like a weirdo. The boy waves shyly and looks at his feet. The man booms, You must be the famous Olivia. His voice is super friendly, but his face is nervous. You got big. I almost didn't recognize you. He is twisting a white envelope in his hands. Yes, I'm Livy. I'm still jumping. I don't want him to take his eyes off me. If he sees Bob, he might call the police or something. Hoppy little thing, aren't you? Yes, I say. I'm kind of hoppy. I start hopping on my right foot only. It must be working because neither of them is looking at Bob. He laughs. Then he catches himself and looks at the envelope in his hands. He seems surprised to see it is bent and starts trying to unflatten it. Is your gran at home? No, I say, switching to my left foot and hopping a little faster. She went over to the neighbors. The harder I hop, the harder Bob pecks in the dirt. The man laughs again. Well, we are the neighbors. Oh, ha! I switch back to the right foot. Is everything all right, he asks. You don't need anything, do you? Like the toilet, maybe? In Australia, they say toilet for bathroom. I know this because I have spent a lot of time back home trying to teach my mom not to say toilet for the bathroom. No need for the toilet. Haha, I'm just getting some exercise. Hopping is great exercise. This is how we exercise in the United States. I don't let my eyes look at Bob, still pecking furiously. Excuse? Exercise? Huh? Must be something new. Well, we'll probably meet your gran on the road, I'm thinking. But if we don't, can you tell her that Danny and I came by to see her? This is when I notice that Danny is staring at Bob. Sure, I say, switching legs again. I'll tell her. And he looks at the envelope in his hand like it's telling him something he does not want to hear. Could you give her this for me? Okay, still hopping, I reach out for the envelope, but then he pulls it back. Never mind, I'll give it to her later. Let's go, Danny. We have cows to milk. They start back down the driveway, and I see the man pat the small head of Danny, who looks back over his shoulders and quietly says 2 words. Nice chicken. I stop hopping and stand there, breathing hard. I look at Bob, his orange hood pulled tight to his round face, the red felt chicken comb flopping over to one side on his head, and his old chicken feathers stuck up and down in his arms with big X's of Scotch tape. He stands up straight and puts one hand on his hip. I told you the suit works. It works every time. But how? Forget the chicken walk, I say. Let's just get to the chicken house before someone else shows up. I grab Bob's hand and we run. His hand in my hand feels familiar and comfortable, like a girl and her not zombie faking chicken sound. Like a girl and her not zombie fake chicken should. The chickens are walking around in the chicken yard, which is fenced in with wire. They're walking back and forth in a group and pecking in the dirt. There are a lot of loose feathers around. Bob is shoving them into his pockets. Your chicken suit has pockets? I ask. Of course. I look a little more closely. In the daylight, the chicken suit looks very familiar. Are those my old pajamas? Bob nods. Of course. I remember them now. Fuzzy orange pajamas with a hood. I guess that explains how I made Bob's chicken suit when I was only 5. All I needed was a bottle of glue and a lot of feathers, and some red felt for the chicken comb. Let's get back to the first thing you remember, I tell Bob. Exactly where did I find you? He points to the little wooden chicken house that sits against one side of the fence. In there. Bob slips through the doorway without a problem, but for me it's a squeeze. Inside the chicken house, there's barely room to stand up. There's not much light and not much to see. Just water pans and straw and chicken poop. And more feathers. Anything look familiar, I ask Bob. He looks around. Oh, yes, he says. Very familiar. It's just the way I remember it. It's kind of smelly, I say. Bob nods. And this is where we met. For the first time. He thinks. This is the first place I remember. About anything. This place and you. It's almost like he hatched from one of the chicken eggs. I take a long look at Bob. No way he came from a chicken. Maybe there's a passageway or something. Bob's face lights up. Ah, yes, a secret passageway to home. You feel around over there, I tell him. I'll check this side. We both drop to our knees and start patting the ground. As soon as we start moving the straw around, a lot of gross dust goes up my nose and into my eyes. After a while, I hear Bob say, I used the door, though. What? The door. He points to it. I used the door to come in, not a secret passageway. Why didn't you say so? I wipe my face, but my hands are so dirty that it just makes things worse. It's really gross in here, Bob. Why did we come here in the first place? Do you think you were running away from something? Bob thinks, tilting his head so that the chicken comb flops in the other direction. No, he says. I came in here because it was warm. Were you cold? No, he says slowly. You were cold. I was cold? You were shivering. Why was I shivering? Because it was almost winter and you were soaking wet. Okay, I'll join you next time for Chapter 6 of Bob.